The last one we have to cover is elimination. This works a lot the same way as substitution, and really in most questions you can do elimination if you want. Substitution works great, and we'll just flip back. Substitution works great when they're both y equals. Sometimes you'll get that form set up for quadratics or for linear, but a lot of times you won't. A lot of times you get stuff like this, where the equations are set up not on y equals. You could rearrange, and if you like substitution, feel free to rearrange and do it that way. You just also need to know the elimination is an option you have. And again, these work for quadratics the same way. So I'm just showing linear because it's a little more straightforward. The way we're going to do it is we're going to line up our equations vertically. Just like remember when you were in elementary and you set up addition like that? We're going to do that with our equations. So I'm going to write equation 1 here. And I'm going to write equation 2. We'll make it blue, this one, right over here. 8 equals 5x plus 4y. This question worked really easily because the y's all lined up and the x's all lined up and the numbers all lined up. You need to make it so everything lines up perfectly. If we had, for example, if the 5 was over here and it was like this, 0 equals -5, this would be not as great a question because the numbers aren't set up the same way. You want to move them so that they're all lined up so it's easier to do these questions. +5. So once we have them lined up, we need to figure out which variable we're going to get rid of. Because just like substitution, we want to eliminate a variable. Sometimes it'll be easy. For example, if both y's have the same coefficient, you just get rid of that one. This case, neither of them are easy. So I'm going to pick, let's do this one. Why not? The 2 and the 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the equations, the entire equations. And my goal is to make it so that the coefficient in front of x is the same. So I'm going to rewrite equation 1 and I'm going to multiply it by 5. The idea is then I know I'm going to get 10x. So if I do 5 times 2x, I get 10x. I have to do 5 times everything else in the equation too to make it so that the equation is actually still the same. They're just bigger numbers. It's basically unreduced. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the second equation, except I only have to multiply it by 2 to make it 10x. 8 times 2 is going to be 16. 4 times 2 is going to be 8y. So now I have my equation set up. The next step you need to think about is how we're going to get rid of these. So you're either going to add or you're going to subtract. And remember, your goal is to get rid of a variable. We were looking at x's. So if I have 10x and 10x, I want to subtract, and it's going to give me 0. Sometimes you'll have a negative here, in which case you would add. It depends on what question you're doing. So I'm doing subtraction. So 15 minus 16, -1. The equal sign stays the same place. 15 minus 8y gives me 7y, so plus 7y. Yep. So now I'm going to rearrange, and I'm going to get y is equal to -1/7. Cool. Next step, what I need to do next, because I'm not done, I need to sub this in order to find my x value. And I realize I made a mistake. So I did this right. Sorry, this should be 25. I was wondering why the number was weird. So 25 minus 16. Yeah, 25 minus 16 gives me 9. And it's going to be 9/7. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to sub this value in for y into one of our original equations. Don't sub it into one of the ones down here because you might have made a mistake in your multiplication, in which case your answer would be super wrong. So we're going to sub it in. I'll pick the first one, whatever. So sub into 1. So I'm going to say 5 equals 2x plus 3, 9/7. 5 equals 2x plus 27/7. Rearrange. So we get 2x, 5 minus 27/7. Multiply it all by 7, so I get 35 minus 27 equals 14x. Subtract those from each other. We're going to get 8 equals 14x. X equals, what's that? 8/14 is the same as 4/7. So now I have my x value and my y value. Therefore, POI is 4/7, 9/7. Ugly numbers, but that's the process. And that's it.